Hey, and welcome back. Let's figure out where we want to go next. There's a signal here with Minae's propulsion system hooked up to the suit. We should be able to cross this rift and head into the bloom. There's some sample requests near the way station that we found last time. Let's see, shimmer blooms, table stalk root, shimmer bloom shoots, and reef cap tissue. Let's see if we can even go up this way. I'm kind of excited to see what it looks like to use the propulsion after last time that we got it. Let's see if it's clear which way we're supposed to go. Okay, so you'll find the controls in the utilities where sampling and everything is. Great. Once you've found the propulsion system, let's try it out. But remember, it uses oxygen, so be careful. When you've got the hang of it, let's try to cross the northern rift. Is this it? Prime before activation. I'm assuming my oxygen resets. I guess we're going faster. Yeah, we are moving faster. Northern Rift. Right as I'm losing the propulsion. The split in the shelf is incredibly wide and deep. Okay. Well, here goes nothing. Start up the propulsion system and let's cross it. Do I have a bunch of oxygen stuff with me? Absolutely not. Let's just go and hope that it'll last the way. At least it's pretty clear. There's something on the other side. A huge green cloud rising up on the shelf. We're at the bloom's edge. That must be the bloom. I wouldn't mind if the speed was this way all the time. The water inside is totally anoxic. We'll have to run on reserve oxygen while we are inside this place. Like anabolic. Strange rocks. Bulbous and shiny, these formations sit under a coating of green filaments and growths. These pale, delicate fans are almost bone white against the clouded green of the bloom. These fans seem to be reoxygenating the water. I'll start lugging notes. They should be useful. Let's hope that they are super useful and give us a ton of oxygen. Because I talk way too slow. Perhaps these creatures can help us learn how to exist in these toxic conditions. Yeah, I talk too much for this to be a fast thing. Let's take some samples and see what effects they have on the bloom when we deploy them. I was hoping that we would just put it into our suit so that we could keep living. It does look like it gives us oxygen, which is a serious plus. Let's add some stuff to our data gathered. Occasionally this fan shivers, releasing a flurry of green growths that have gathered among its gossamer spines. Is there a new thing here? Bivalve creature. This bronze shell sits half buried in the sand. What creature lives inside it? Can we tempt it out? We need to figure out how to tempt it out of its burrow. Perhaps a sample from elsewhere in the bloom, something that reacts with microbial growth itself. Do they mean the oxygen? No. Maybe. The rock's edge. I'm gonna add a little bit more oxygen to our... It's not a lot at all. The bloom is vast. That could cause and sustain these processes on such a scale. With the oxygen gone, the microbes here must be metabolizing some other substance in order to persist. I also realized that if I just click them really quickly, that I might not learn everything about them on the spot, but then I can read the rest of the descriptions when I'm back on base. They're like kind of repetitive that way. Fan dust. I can fix that. Keep ourselves sustained. Okay, I still kind of want to look at them. There's a faint fizzing that emerges from these fans. It appears to be caused by the coating of their spines reacting to the bloom. Toxic waters. So I was looking online, and this game development studio, they just released the date for their new game. It comes out in like a month or something. Up ahead, fizzing membrane of the oxygenated waters. This is what allows the species here to survive this constant toxicity. Is it? These crystal cylinders? It's animal, and it does not provide any oxygen. These colonies do well to hold out against the bloom. The individual creatures seem to be able to digest microbial growth. We can use this. I'm happy that she knows. We should try deploying a colony to see if we can create our own safe zone inside the toxic flood. Nesting creatures. With these complex transport structures, the blurred activity in the individual creatures can be seen. The swarms of brick creatures provide vital safe zones in the bloom. Let's start logging data on them. These strange forms scattered around inside the bubble. Are these skeletons? They resemble radiolarans, but far bigger in scale. They are incredibly ornate. A colony of scattered domes lying the silvery silt. What are these creatures? I guess we can try to deploy this here. It's working. I'm curious. I haven't seen any of the screenshots though from the new game. I really did just see that when I logged on this to play today that they had announced something new. I'm curious if it's in a similar sort of like minimalistic style, or if they're gonna try a different kind of look. Because honestly, the art is what drew me to this game to begin with, because it's such a pretty... Oh, it's a base. It's a way station. Must have been a struggle to assemble the metallic cage of this way station so deep in the bloom. Can we use it? Finally, a way station. With this active, we can call for retrieval across the bloom, useful when we run low on oxygen. Open the terminal and we can resupply and see if Minae left any map data behind. Is it this one? Map data? Power, oxygen. So far, I feel like the story is coming along. I've got our logs, a lot of trips back and forth between here and a lab. That means she must have set up a remote lab somewhere deeper into the bloom. She spent months making trips to it, varying some material from somewhere else in the bloom to here. She was studying something important to her. We have to find that lab. I'll log the coordinates on the dive map when we get back to base. But yeah, I think they do a pretty good job pacing this so far. Other than me being a little lost about the concept when it started, I feel like it's a pretty good, even pace. And if it seems, it seems like it'll be pretty quick overall. I wanted to ask you about the bloom. I've been trying to understand what is causing it. It seems unlikely that we are looking at a stable ecosystem. It has to be a unique event. And yet creatures have rapidly and effectively adapted to these conditions. How is that possible? There's something we aren't seeing, something Minae was investigating too. Do you think she knows something we don't? Yeah, definitely. She holed up in the lab, mentioned in the lab map data. Waiting for us. Let's find that lab. But yeah, I feel like this game is pretty well paced so far. I've only been playing for about 3 hours, and I know that it's kind of sat, and I did a test recording and stuff like that. And I'm talking and reading like way more than I think a normal person that wasn't recording this would be. But it's moving along and it's keeping things kind of curious, and I like that it wasn't super hand-holdy. And it seems like when you're looking at the map that there's a lot that can be done here. Oh wow, we traveled really far. How much is left? There's still a fair bit of map. That's pretty out there. But yeah, it's cool that this seems optional, I think. And you can kind of follow the main story this way. I am curious how they're going to keep up this kind of pace. Let's see. We'll go back to the lab and give in our... Oops. Is it this one? Oh, here it is, yeah. Our new samples. Is this going to be useful at all? Maybe. They kind of give you what you need right there and then. It's not overly complicated that way. Unless you're just happen to get stuck on a reef and can't figure out how to get out. Yeah. Whoops. I guess we'll keep them here for safekeeping. Is there anything else? Ellery has no new info. The communication signal is still not doing great. Our sonar system inactive. Generator's working. What is this? Med subject? Medical assessment. Maybe we'll get hurt at some point. I wouldn't be surprised running around somewhere like this. Bacteria. Plant. I guess we didn't have enough data on the fan dust and all of that, but we'll probably see a ton more when we're going towards the new area. This is the reef stalk. The pictures are pretty cool. They do remind me a lot of bio and learning about like the different classes of organisms in our life, or in our world, I should say. Not that all of us have reef stalks, just dermal study pictures around. But this does look a lot like a sponge. There are those ones that have like those hollow tubes in the center too. I wonder how big it is. Let's look at the other pictures. Actually, that was just generally way nicer than having to read all of the bits. Oh yeah, I remember seeing that one. Maybe it was in the time that we that I lost to that recording. I don't know. This is the stalk scraper. Looks a lot like a barnacle, even with the cloud markings, like a mussel even. Oh crap, I didn't mean to keep exiting out like this. Fungal. Oh, we just did the reef stalks. Can we go back? Sing stalks. Oh, the pictures are the motivation to keep going. I see their play. Because they're definitely the cooler part of all of this. This is the reef bloats that were exploding the spores everywhere. Looks like a, what is that, vile bloom? Chitin seams, sensory stalks. Alright, let's get back out there and see if we can finish the, so we're gonna go, if we can finish the entries that we had seen for the bloom. It looks like we're gonna be going down around here. There's this main kind of body, and if we stick really close to it, I can't tell if it's deep or if this is more shallow. I'm assuming this is like a cliff, that it's higher up in the water, and the darker is the more depressed part of the ocean floor, but maybe not. You know, maybe this is a pit that we'll descend into. But it looks like we follow this kind of structure, we'll make it to this island down here. This is the priority signal. Data from the way station places Minae's remote lab in the southern part of the bloom. Is she hiding something here? Absolutely. Bubble edge. Oh yeah, what's with us? Oh, we have enough. Worn equipment. Abandoned to the bloom by Minae. Is it possible to tell? It's impossible to tell what this oxidized scrap once was. Oh, is this British? Oxidized with an S? Rock outcrop. A little sand has gathered around the distended base of this rock, enough to hide a creature from bloom, perhaps. This is that thing that we were gonna hide to. This is the bivalve creature. When active, these creatures feed directly on the microbial growth of the bloom, rapidly clearing patches of oxygenated water. filtered fan, twisting in the direction of the bloom's flow. This fan cuts a slit of clear water through the microbial clouds. Not gonna lie, if this whole picture is just a picture of dust, I'm gonna be pretty upset. We're not doing super great on the oxygen. Data gathered. Pale, delicate fan that feeds on the bloom by filtering through their bodies. I'm naming these bloom fans. When they finally get out of this place, I'll update the base's taxonomy logs. Metal debris, scattered and eaten away debris from Minae's expedition, spread out across the rock shelf, gathering drifts of sand. I'm gonna go a little more leftish. I wonder what these metal scraps are, if it's kind of like the suit that we're wearing, or is it like metal scrap like a boat? Shimmering bubble. This bubble has, we better get there because we're running out of oxygen, and I'm talking enough for us to be running out of oxygen. We are at oop. Is this the skeletal silt they were talking about? Sphere fragment, an ornate mineral orb honeycombed with oxygen bubbles. Nesting creatures. When their protective bubble begins to fail, these creatures burst from their nest to repair them, swarming out to weave more threads. Crystal cylinders. Ew. The center of the bubble rounded shapes sit in a bed of silt. Around them, the water dances with streaks of refracted light. Nest workers. Yeah, that sounds buggy. Sounds buggy to me. This is the thing that we're gonna try to stick to. I think it's just going full south. A million tiny grains, perhaps broken down remains of those silicate skeletons gather here, soft sparkling waves. Silicate skeletons. Not sure if it's silicate, but I'm curious if it's like coral reef sort of structure, or is that more like, I don't know. I just know they're porous and skeletally. Silt bank. Small holes, perhaps burrows, dot the waves of silt. We're done with the bivalves. Read a little bit more when we get back. Bloom growth. These strange little creatures are getting a big name. Bivalve bloom veins. What do you think? Not the greatest. She could workshop it a little better, you know. Corroded rock. The rocks inside the scar shine with a strange smoothness. Is this the one that makes the bubble around me? Yeah. Definitely needed. Crap. More oxygen. Or else we'll have to come back. Hopefully we can get to the base. We're near dense bubbles. Bloom growth. I keep thinking I'm in a different panel. Crap. We're definitely losing oxygen. Did that change? Bloom bubble. We're running out of oxygen, yeah. Hopefully we don't need those. Research site. get into the oxygen bubble. We won't get much oxygen. This place was pressurized at some point. It must have taken months to work and establish this lab. And just weeks of corrosion for it all to fall into ruin. It looks like Minae was gathering those mineral skeletons, studying them. What secrets have you uncovered, Minae? These strange silicon spheres. I'll call these weavers for those beautiful nests and bubbles they weave. What would we do without them? I think I was going very quickly. Did we find the lab? This is the lab. Assembled from modules extracted from the base Minae's lab, now exposed to the corrosion of the bloom, sits silently in silt. Melted module. Clicking too quickly, it's too exciting. These modules are so rapidly melting away. Are the bloom's microbes metabolizing the metal itself? Dark opening. Hold metal floor of the module reveals an opening in the passage. We have no oxygen. Let's just go down. Hopefully it's a base, but it totally isn't. Steel passage. Minae must have laid this under the lab when she constructed it. The water is cleared here. Shielded. Oops. From the microbial clouds. Hidden workshop. Machines glint in the dark. Papers and tools lie still on the silt speckled surface, as if the scene had been frozen, captured in time. This is not just a lab. It's a workshop. She was building something down here. It's a suit. It looks like she was modifying an old atmospheric hard suit. How deep was she planning to go? These are verified for beyond 1,000 meters. I'm going to see what I can pull from the notes and documents here. Some of them are still partially readable. The lack of water flow must have kept them in good condition and away from the bloom, so it wasn't being eaten. She definitely spec'd this suit. She was definitely speccing this suit for use beyond drop-off, modifying it. Artificers, she called them, exoskeletons of nanofibrous geolith protecting a silicon carbide core. The pressure resistance of their exoskeleton is unprecedented for a biological material. That would take the depth reading of the hard suit well past 3,000 meters. Absolutely incredible, but why go over the drop-off at all? What was pushing her forward? She was incredibly driven, desperate even. She mentioned sending ROVs down to the abyssal plain, cobbled together from bits of the base. All of them were lost, and her work on the suit failed. That's where the notes seemed to end. She better hope that I have enough oxygen and this has stopped doing its thing. The most recent document mentions another way. Did she make it? How? The suit was so close to completion. Why abandon it? Yeah, I really hope we have enough oxygen. I'm assuming we're just gonna go up and leave. We have to make that dive. If I can fix up this suit, we can take it to the drop-off. Perhaps Minae managed it. We need to follow. I can do this. We can do this. Let's get back outside and call in a drone. I have to say, I'm not usually forwarding this dialogue. You can kind of see the countdown timer of when they're gonna try to pull me out. And I understand that there's the oxygen that's running out, and there's I definitely feel the pressure, feeling that time is of the essence, and this person is actually trying to get in contact with me in real time, because I feel like if I miss something or if I'm reading too slowly, that I'm kind of in it here, like this. Glad to see you're back online. Sorry to rush, but we've got to move. Yeah, I've been going through Minae's notes and from her lab, and from what I can tell, she attempted yeah, you can just feel the rush. Well, free dive over the drop-off. That's why she left her suit behind. She must have opened it up and descended. I know what you're thinking. There's no way she could free dive thousands of meters to the ocean floor. But that's what she did, willingly, and we are going after her. We need to dive now. I've been working on the suit, and it's almost ready. I've used section of Minae's failed hard suit to modify our suit. Now it's full atmospheric dive suit. Internally, you should be able to maintain 1 atmosphere of pressure for me, and that's casing of yours. I'll work just like before, but our depth rating is massively increased. We can hit 2, maybe 3,000 meters. The suit is in the bay, so load whatever samples you need. I've marked the drop-off on the map, and we can dive there directly and search for any evidence there. I have no idea why she would do this. It's suicide, but she seemed to believe she could do this. Get ready to go. I'll be waiting. Yeah, I can definitely feel the urgency in the game and that my oxygen is actually ticking away. There was a game that came out. It was like a choose your own adventure sort of mobile game when you're on a mysterious planet. I know it sounds so similar, but you were like gonna adventure into this alien base, and you were more terrestrial than abyssal. Either way, I feel like that also did a good job of making it feel like the time was actually passing. But in that game, because it was like a mobile game on your phone, the notifications would come up real time as you are the communications back to Earth for this person who's on another planet, and they're like, what should I do? And you had to give them direction with your cell phone. And I kind of like that they're both going for a similar idea of using real time to push the narrative, but that one was slow and it was meant to be played over a day or two, and this feels fast and you can't go back if you miss what she says to you. Part of me wishes that it was voice acted though, because there's a couple times where I feel like I wanted to talk and I was missing stuff. Maybe that's the point, like you're missing her talking about the organisms, or you're missing some Minae thing, or I'm clicking because I'm trying to move while she's talking. But yeah, it's a really cool idea in the execution. I think next time we'll take a look at the samples, but until next time, thanks for stopping by and hanging out.